Welcome to the Grappling Rewind podcast.
Welcome to this week on the Grappling Rewind podcast. On this week's show, we're going to recap Submission Underground 23, headlined by Mason Fowler. We're going to preview Submission Underground, headlined by Craig Jones versus Luiz Panza, and a little bit of a preview for the Spider Purple and Brown Belt qualifier. As always in the show, I'm your host, Maine, with my co-host,
Josh.
How you doing, Josh?
Good.
Almost botched that intro there. So big news. Let's move right into the news because it affects who's number one, which is kind of the main meat of the show this week. Gordon Ryan has announced that he is retiring. As a result, his match with Luiz Panza is now going to be taken by Craig Jones, which is honestly a fairly compelling matchup. So I'm happy with that replacement. Gordon has gastroparesis. If you don't know what that is, it is a terrible.
He got a bad tummy.
It's a terrible stomach condition. As a dude that had a chronic stomach condition for years and years, feel for the guy. It's a terrible way to live, being nauseous all the time, so hope he gets it cleared up. But in the meantime, he has announced that he is retiring until he can essentially get that, potentially indefinitely, until he can get that cleared up.
So people are looking at this as this is like the worst thing ever, as like, oh no, the greatest no-gi grappler is no longer grappling. I look at it as all of these people, now that we're getting their shit pushed in by Gordon Ryan, have a chance. So you're welcome, everybody else.
It does seriously kind of open up.
It opens up no-gi wise, like all of these people to do things. You have tons of people. He didn't have any matches anyway, so it's not like it was a huge deal.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, he hasn't competed against Ponza yet. Great. Okay, you could be like, all right, Gordon Ryan's probably going to win. Like,
Probably.
there's a 99% chance that Gordon Ryan's going to beat Luiz Panza. Mm-hmm. There's always that 1% that some shit happens.
Yeah, there's always like a crazy, like what happened? He inverted and heel hooked him, and like he just got him. Like you guys get caught.
That shit ain't gonna happen.
No, it's not. But I gotta talk about the 1%. What it might be, Josh. Like Gordon blows his own knee out, and then
he even won a match when he blew his knee out.
I'm saying versus Gabriel Hosha, that did happen. I don't know. It opens it up. I feel for Gordon. I want him to come back and like be healed, because having lived through a really bad stomach thing for like 3+ years, it sucks. I don't want anyone to like live like that. It does make no-gi a bit more interesting at the absolute and at the higher at plus 99, plus 90.
Under 99
Yeah.
and absolute wise, it makes it far more interesting because it's not a foregone conclusion. People are like, oh, this guy's amazing. It's like, is he better than Gordon Ryan? No? Okay. Well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it sucks that it happens, but it doesn't suck because it happened.
It'll make picking stuff a lot
people...
easier for us, or a lot harder for us, which I am very much looking forward to. Again, best of luck to him in recording that. So, Josh, I have no other news this week. That was kind of the bits of news I had.
Mackenzie Dern has a fight.
Yeah.
That's scheduled.
Mm-hmm.
What's her name the other week? Oh.
Ryan Hall has a fight that got scheduled today as well.
Yep.
This is all like MMA news, though, and that's not really...
Yeah, but they're like grapplers.
They are grapplers, yes. They do they do the grapple from time to time.
Oh, what's her...
Jake Ellenberger and Carlos Condit competed on SUG. We'll talk about that.
Who fought just this past weekend?
A lot of people.
It was a woman's fight.
Carlos Condit.
Yeah, she armbarred herself.
No, that was Yang. Yang armbarred herself, and then Esparza finished her from top of crucifix.
Oh, yeah. She still armbarred herself. Somebody got armbarred. I saw the highlight of it. It was hilarious. I was like, oh, wow, armbarring yourself.
So, interesting week in the UFC. I'm planning for my wedding, so I have had a lot less time to do anything. Josh, let's kick it. Do you have any other news?
Nope.
I think we move right into the recap of Submission Underground 23, headlined by Mason Fowler versus Kyle Chambers.
This is also now becoming foregone conclusion when it comes to SUG and when Mason Fowler is on the card.
Well, it's like he's beaten Craig Jones in SUG, one of the upper echelon guys, and so they're throwing a lot of folks.
He beat Vinny.
He broke Vinny's leg in half.
No, wasn't that Craig?
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Craig again.
No, I was talking about Mason.
Beat Vinny. Yeah, Mason's beat pretty much.
Mason beat everybody that he's had thrown at him.
Yeah, it's SUG. Like consistently by submission in either regulation or in overtime.
In SUG, Mason Fowler is an S-tier grappler.
Oh, yeah.
In, like, everything else, he's, like, A+. He's like scraping.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he's bad.
No, not at all.
In any reach, Mason Fowler is very good.
Go back and watch his match with Craig Jones at ADCC, like at the upper pinnacle of that.
Look,
and like how
a few
close
weeks
that
ago, was it? I swear it was Victor Hugo, where it was just like a super
one of the third close grappling
yeah,
matches.
it was super close match.
Yeah,
super close.
Yeah, Fowler has continually showed in his outings that like he is up there, but especially in SUG though, like in that short rule set, that dude has it.
Nobody even has looked close. Like Craig was the closest one. That was it. That was literally it.
Which is why they ran that back 3 times or twice at SUG.
Kyle Chambers just like he did his little loop-de scoop and tried to get that heel hook, and then
Fowler passed with the quickness.
Oh, that pass was slick, so fast. It wasn't even like slick. It was just like, you know, when you pass a white belt's guard and they're like, "How did you do that?" And you're like, "You just suck." That's what it. That's kind of what he did. He was like, "I'm just walking by your legs." He
threw by, and then he just settled in north-south. He didn't let Chambers invert, and that's really where Chambers is super dangerous. Is that he'll invert on guys and get underneath them, and like he's lanky, he's flexible, and Fowler knew that and went, "I'm going to get past you as quick as I possibly can and jump past,
good on the back,
and then I'm going to just settle here." And then I don't want to play with your ability to flex, and get out and like move me in strange ways. And even Chael talked about like that is Chambers' strength. And then Fowler got the back and then just locked in. Fowler I think he has a weird squeeze. He has a ridiculous squeeze.
So it was talked about earlier with the Raquel Canuto match, but it wasn't all the way underneath of his chin.
Wasn't under the chin at all. It was like face.
But that's the thing like more and more people are now coming to the conclusion that like you're taught don't tuck your head because that's not a great way to defend, but people defend anyway.
Yeah.
And they're just assuming that the other person is going to be nice.
Yeah.
And more people are going,
everything above the neck is the neck. Is what I learned, what I heard years and years ago. And in the gym, you don't kind of want to like, I don't want to crush.
No, I do it in the gym now too. Like I'm not going crazy with it, but I do
not
it in the gym now.
Not go crazy with it, but I'm going to like, I'm not going to do it quickly.
I will yell at people. I choke them.
Slow.
And I'm like, don't use your face to defend a choke.
Yeah. And then Fowler gets it and then retains. There was some discussion about who he's going to face next. Apparently SUG is going to get some rankings in there and they're going to like do more of a league.
Who?
I don't know.
Like, name me somebody that they have on their roster that they're going to throw, or who are they going to pull across? That's
I don't know. He's kind of in SUG. He is sort of in the.
They're going to have to do
round.
handicap matches in SUG, where it's going to have to be 2-on-1. Like they're going to have a semi tag team match where the other person can like tag the guy in and attack
Josh,
Fowler.
Don't get into tag team matches. Don't make me do this.
I'm just telling you that's what they're going to have to do to possibly beat Fowler, and then the two people are going to have to share one belt.
Reasonable. So that's all I got for that match. Moving on to the next match. Carlos Condit defeated Jake Ellenberger via heel hook. Jake kind of just stopped defending the leg after Carlos rolled through for the knee bar.
I think he felt he was comfortable and he was okay. And
I mean,
Condit was like, nah, dog.
Nice square to the back. I mean, he gets to go for like the 5-point throw position, that back to back, belly to back position. And then Carlos Condit does the straight up Gracie combatives like defense to someone having your back and rolls to the knee bar. I was like, you don't see that very often. And then they're talking about a knee bar, and then all of a sudden you realize that Condit has like shifted out to the heel, and I was like, that's actually really tight. And Ellenberger is sort of not
sat there.
He's sort of not like climbing the back or defending the hands, and Condit just kind of heel hooks him, and that's the match.
Well, Condit was also trying to wrestle, but what was it? Chael. He was just ruining the matches. Like him talking ruins the matches.
I muted it. For
like
that one.
I'm 100% like the matches. Sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not. But what makes them terrible consistently is Chael talking.
He needs someone else with him.
It's not even that. He just needs to not be there because you can't go off of it. One, you have somebody's name in front of you, and you can't say it.
The next match now?
Well, yeah, let's just go. Raquel, as Chael calls her, Raquel Canuto defeated Gillian Robertson via guillotine choke in a minute.
Was it that long?
No, it was 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It was 30 seconds. Gillian Robertson shot like a terrible single. And Chael was like, oh, it's a good single. I was like, no, it's not. her head was pretty much to the outside almost immediately, and she got snatched up in that high elbow guillotine.
Yeah. Well, Raquel locks up the guillotine and then throws the elbow over the shoulder like standard Marcelo style.
Yeah.
High elbow, yeah.
The thing is, I'm watching the GIF now. She just shot dead center. She shot dead center, and she catches it. Gillian even gets past the legs, but it was just so tight, and she was not defending it at all. She gets tapped, and she went out. She sits up and then starts doing the herky jerk, and then Raquel is being polite and is like, "Okay, wake up," and that was it.
Yeah.
And
even because Chael in the match was talking about when she's passed, you're out of it. I was like, not out of a high elbow. You can't pass the guard out of a high elbow. You can pass the guard in a standard guillotine grip when they don't have high elbow, and you can Von Flew them. But if they have high elbow, you're not out of that until you clear the second elbow.
That she passed to the high elbow side.
Yeah,
it would have been more difficult if she went to the opposite side, the choking side. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't have been as tight, still tight, but not as tight.
Yeah,
and she wasn't defending her neck at all. Yeah. She was just like, "Oh, I'll pass and I'll be okay." It's like, no, fight the hands.
Yep. So that was, again, Raquel Canuto. We've talked about
30 seconds.
We've talked about her many times on this show.
Beast mode. You see her win far more than you see her lose.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And, she just handled Robertson.
Mm-hmm. Next match, we got Richie Martinez, Boogeyman versus Don Stoner.
Dan Stoner.
Don Stoner.
Oh, then they have it wrong on the listing.
Yeah, it's listed wrong on Grappling Insider.
Hi,
it's Don Stoner. Boogie, and Chael talked about this. Boogie came out super aggressive, he was upset at Don.
I think he's been listening to us, and we've been like, maybe you should, work a little bit more and not hang back. And
he came out aggressive, hits a nice inside trip.
Most aggressive I've seen him. He just kind of manhandled.
This is the most I've seen. The most aggressive I have seen Martinez in.
Ever?
4 years, at least. 4 or 5 years. I cannot.
The only time I've seen him
match.
this aggressive is his MMA fights.
That's what I mean. I'm trying to think back, and that was back.
That was more than 4 years ago.
Nah, he last fought in MMA. I want to say in 2012, I think. Because I think I've looked at his MMA. I've watched all of his MMA fights because that's when I was super into MMA. And back when I was like, maybe Gio would transition over, and Gio was like, bro, no
way.
Because back then Boogie was the MMA fighter of the two brothers, and then his younger brother Gio was the grappler, and then Boogie came over more so to the grappling side, later in his career. You found it, Josh? What year?
2016 was his last fight. Yep.
No shit. Was there a gap between the sixth fight and the fifth fight?
Why did they have these? I don't. That's not his MMA fight record. These are.
You in Topology?
I am.
Yeah, Topology lists grappling matches now, which I am appreciative for.
That's great, but
they should have them listed without have just a standard match listing. Will be just the one with the MMA fights.
I'll show display options.
Yeah. So Boogie comes out super quick here, and then transitions over to what we think is going to turn into a Darce, because Boogie's really well known for the Darce, and he never threads the hand all the way through to go to the bicep grip. He just stays on the Japanese necktie grip, and also. Boogie is also very well known for the Japanese necktie, although I haven't seen him hit a Japanese necktie in
a
couple years. I mean, I know he's hit them on smaller shows, but I haven't seen him
He won 2 of his matches by that.
Yeah, I mean, he has a bunch of wins in MMA.
He won 2 of his MMA.
Yeah, his MMA fights. He was known for the Japanese necktie, and it was he's one of the guys I know that popularized that style of Darce neck crank.
Amateur fights, he won by rear naked choke and guillotine, and then. Won by rear naked choke, 2 Japanese neckties, and then lost by ground and pound and TKO.
Yeah. So that was that match. Richie Martinez looked good, came out super aggressive, more aggressive than I've seen him in many, many years, and that was interesting. Also on the card, we had Andy Varela defeating Rafael Domingos via overtime rear naked choke.
That was a good match where Varela looked in control the entire time.
Yeah.
He got to a crucifix super quick, and Domingos he got out. Don't get me wrong, he got out, but he definitely was struggling a little bit. And then when it went to overtime,
Varela's got really good top pressure, and you can tell how strong he is.
He's bigger too.
Yeah, definitely. When he fought Fowler, a couple months ago, for the absolute title.
He was a little bit smaller.
He's smaller than Fowler, but he's still definitely bigger than Domingos here. Domingos is a guy that consistently competes at 45, 55. I think 55 primarily now. But Varela looked good wrestling, strong positional work, and eventually takes it to overtime. And, looks strong in the overtime, gets it finished there. Adam Smith defeats Benji Silva via overtime in armbar. This was heated, lots of poking, some head bashing here and there, and Silva is able to get it done with a really, really quick overtime submission and armbar. And also Nicholas Magsimov defeats Joey Ellsmore via Kimura. It was a really nice step over.
Super basic setup. He was high side control north-south and just stepped over, immediately locked it up, and then just went crank and finished it.
It was one of that classic. Reminds me of the Galvao Kimura, that really famous where he just lifts up, he bangs it out and just steps up and walks away.
Oh, yeah.
That very famous gif of Galvao just versus the fake back belt. That one where he just bangs the Kimura and just gets up and walks away.
Oh, yeah. After he danced on
where you take it immediately and you hammer lock it down. You don't finish it up. You finish it behind the back.
That's the best way to do it. There's less flexion, less rotation.
In my head, though, for some reason, that whenever I see this Kimura, that is what I think of, is that gif. Because it's just such a smooth, there's no grip, fight, break. There's just you lift and you turn, you finish, and that's it. So that Magsimov gets it done there. And there was a tag team match. And
that was higher up on the card. You actually went past it.
Yeah, I skipped it. We have Charlie Gilpin defeating Wilfie Audrey via...
Willie Odifer.
Via escape time and overtime. And we have Josh Uwe the last
Aaron Teagues defeating Matt Cox via armbar.
And that was a regulation submission.
If you want to watch it, go for it. You can zip through the entire thing in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, 20, 30 minutes. It's again, this is one thing. The
video is an hour and 45 minutes long, but you can get through it pretty quickly.
The one thing I love about SUG is there's no flack. They boom, 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 boom,
you
boom.
have the downtime because it shoots over to Chael and he talks about whatever he feels like talking about. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. So you can just skip past any of that, go into it, make sure you watch the matches, and then that's it. And then skip some more, match, skip some more, match. The tag team stuff is really, they need to stop that. I
agree.
It's weird. It's not exciting at all.
So that's SUG.
Yeah,
you can watch it on Fight Pass. Again, I love that they keep them short and sweet. It's one of the things I really appreciate about SUG is that they move through the matches and then there's not a huge collection of other stuff.
No, thank goodness.
Moving on to our preview of who's number one. Josh, anything else on that?
No.
Who's number one? Craig Jones versus Luiz Panza. That is a heavyweight 15-minute match. Josh, how do you see this going? You know more about... We talked about this on the pre-show.
Ponza is known for his footlocks, footlocks and toe holds.
Yeah. And the Ponza lock.
Oh, you mean like a footlock?
Like a footlock, yeah. This is a variation of a straight ankle toe hold combination-y thing.
And he's very good. He's obviously bigger. I thought he was a super heavyweight.
He's bigger than Gordon.
I think they're roughly the same size.
No, Ponza's I think 240.
Oh no, he was at super heavyweight, and that's 220.
Okay, I could be. I thought
so.
I must
can't
be wrong
remember.
about that. Josh, you're probably right. You're the guy that
we're gonna go over to
that I defer to when I'm this guy's this weight, and you're no, he's not. He's historically
he's got really good jiu-jitsu. He's got really good positioning. He's from Checkmat. He trained under Leo Vieira. What does that mean? He's also, at one point or another, was training with Buchecha. He's a no-gi world champion. He is super heavyweight. Suck it. It's pan champion.
Okay, what weight is that for the people that don't know?
That's around 220.
Much like myself. All right, 220.
You're going to make me go to IBJJ's
No, you're right. That's fine. That's 220. So he's bigger than Craig by a bit. Craig walks around at about 200. Give or take 205, but doesn't usually cut to make 205. Usually pretty comfortable at 200. So he's a bit bigger than Craig. So I think this match goes like most Craig Jones matches go. Craig pulls and looks for the legs. Do you think Ponza pulls here?
It'll be interesting to see what happens. The thing is, if you're very focused on Craig's leg locks, that's when he gets to his better positions of attacking the back or being on top.
Yeah.
I find it harder to find Ponza's way to victory than I do Craig. So I'm going to lean towards Craig. By the way, with the gi, 222 is super heavyweight.
Okay.
Ponza has a chance. Like, this is now a closer match than it was previously.
Yeah.
I'll say that. Like, I would think that Gordon would probably call either a rear naked choke or really put it out there and try to submit him with a wrist lock.
Yeah.
Or attack the foot that he got broken at Abu Dhabi Pro many years ago.
That's a callback.
Yeah.
That's a really famous foot break, too.
Yes, and I only remember it because...
Stop banging the table, Josh.
Sorry, I'm touching the table.
I know.
It happens. I only remember it because when Unity opened originally, they had this big, like, come, it's free seminar, check it out. And Ponza was supposed to be one of the ones teaching, and that's when Murillo filled in for him because Ponza broke his foot.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna
I have to lean towards Craig
I lean
for this
Craig
one.
here just because... Again, just because mostly I'm less familiar with Ponza's game than I should be at this point.
I haven't seen him Ponza in a while. That's the thing. I don't know what he's been doing.
He's been doing IBJJF stuff. That's primarily what he's been doing.
I'm gonna go with Craig. Like,
do you think Craig's able to submit Ponza here?
Yes, but I also see it the other way where Ponza would be able to submit Jones. Yeah. If it was Gordon Ryan, I wouldn't give him a chance. But there's a chance with Craig. Craig is beatable.
Yeah.
Gordon, not so much.
Right, I agree with that.
This is a very interesting matchup. It's more interesting than Gordon Ryan versus Luiz
They also
Panza.
have two kind of different styles of footlock, which I think is very interesting. We saw Craig versus... Have you ever seen Craig versus Hussamer?
Paul Harris?
Yeah.
I don't know if we did or not.
For some reason, I think we did, like a couple of years ago.
Why don't they have a thing for Craig on Flow Grappling?
They don't have his page up?
No, like you can't click on his name and it doesn't say like...
That's weird. Oh, no, it's not linked on the page here. They should have a fighter page for Craig here. I'm really curious to see how Craig deals with Ponza, because Ponza has different different leg lock, heel hook, and ankle lock entries, and he is a murderer with that ankle lock.
Yes.
I lean Craig here, but it is not out of the realm that they get into a footlock battle, and Ponza, being the bigger, probably a bit stronger guy, gives Craig a hard time. Again, I don't remember the last time we've seen Craig submitted in like a regular match, but definitely chance here. Going to lean Craig, but should actually pretty excited for this matchup. Co-main event, we got Mikey Musumeci versus Lucas Pinheiro, 135-pound match, 15 minutes. This is for the number one spot. I mean, Mikey has taken on Marcelo Cohen. What are you seeing, Josh?
No, I'm just looking through his thing, but I'm also thinking about the match as well, and it's just going to be...
This is a huge jump up in no-gi competition for Mikey.
Yes.
Like, Lucas Pinheiro is by far and away number one right now at roosterweight in no-gi, and Mikey has gone from Cohen, who I think is like top 10, top 15, to Lucas Pinheiro.
He did fight Hussamer, by the way.
He did. In what?
Kasai Pro 3.
Knew it, Josh. I was like in that dumb place in my brain.
That's what I was mainly looking for, but I was just like, where the hell is it?
I think we covered that. Yeah.
We definitely did.
That's when he had Hussamer had the Frenchman mustache.
Oh, that sick mustache.
Yes, and that fade or whatever that's called with the part in it.
Oh, no, he had like the Mike Tyson haircut.
Yes,
it was great.
From the 80s. That was the 90s. That was the match. From the 80s. So, I don't know, Josh, some year. So on to Mikey Musumeci versus Lucas Pinheiro before you get too sidetracked.
No, I'm not going to get sidetracked on this, but this is such an interesting matchup, whereas Mikey is, again, not known as a no-gi guy. We've said it before, this is his second, well, it's not his second match in 6 years.
It's his third no-gi match in 6 years.
Yeah.
Like, dude doesn't do no-gi that often.
Not
his last
often.
match versus
So
Marcelo
it'll be
Cohen
interesting against Lucas Pinheiro, who goes up and down in weight all the time. It's very interesting to see it at 135 and not 125.
I don't think Mikey can make 25 anymore. Or not without a significant, like...
He fought mostly at light featherweight and then went to roosterweight to win roosterweight.
Yeah.
So he could beat Bruno Malfacine.
Yeah.
it's just a really intriguing matchup to me. They both have good paths to victory. It's just interesting because, again, what's it like Bootsy's Garage that he's listed as his.
Yeah.
I don't know who he's training with other than his sister.
Tammy Musumeci, also world champion in the gi.
Yeah, but who else is he training with?
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
So it'll be really interesting to see like how it turns out. This is a pick'em for me anyway. Like if it was in the gi, I'd favor Mikey.
I'd favor Mikey in any weight, in any of like his normal weight classes in the gi.
I'd favor him in ultra heavyweight in the gi.
I would not.
I've
seen how that goes.
Yeah, he didn't get completely beat up by Muhammad Ali, and he kept away safe for.
He did keep away safe for a while, but he did not like look dominant in those matches.
Yeah, but he didn't lose either in that one.
All right, so versus Pinheiro. I'm gonna lean Mikey here just because Mikey has not shown me a reason to. Mikey has not shown me that he's beatable by guys in his weight class in the last couple of years. That's the main reason.
Who's the last person he lost to? Like, legitimately.
In his weight class, not Maidana. And it would have been Doderlin Doderlin's, I think, 2016, though.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
It was a while. It would have been like a couple of years ago.
Like, Pinheiro's last loss was recent. It was his most recent match. Was versus Josh Cisneros, and it was a decision.
It was a close decision.
At Fight to Win. But his last loss before that was Juni Ocasio at Fight to Win 149.
So Kleber Souza is Mikey's last loss at a division, which is light featherweight in 2017 at Pans.
4 years ago at Pans.
Yeah, it wasn't Muhammad Ali or Helena Montero.
Yeah. Oh, he's lost. Ooh, I'm looking at.
So I'm going Musumeci here just because
Pinheiro's losses, and he's definitely lost to some guys that I know for a fact Mikey has either beaten or could easily beat.
This is why I'm leaning Musumeci. Again, the big X factor though here, and which is why it's a fun match for me, is that
it's no-gi.
It's no-gi. We haven't seen Mikey do a ton of no-gi in the last
Correct.
5 years, or really in his black belt career, a lot. So lean Mikey here. Again, Pinheiro definitely has a pathway to victory. Currently number one ranked in no-gi for a reason at rooster weight, at bantamweight. Should be a fun matchup. Next one, we got Wagner Hosha versus Josh Hinger. Again, at 185. Wagner's up at 185 now. Hinger's been at 185 for a long time. Yeah, for a long time. I don't know how this one's going to go, Josh. This, for me, is very much a pick-em. It's like, because Wagner looked great against Yuri.
I like this, though. It's not like, it's obviously who's going to win this one.
That's kind of why I like mostly who's number one matchups here. It's like because a lot of them are like are pick'ems. They're like there's a good pathway to victory for Wagner here. There's a good pathway to victory for Hinger here.
Wagner is grittier than Hinger.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Wagner's grittier than like almost everyone.
But I think that will do something to Hinger mentally, where Wagner is just going to fuck with him so much that it's going to throw Hinger off. I can be completely wrong, and Wagner does something and it gets guillotine choked. I don't know.
That's a possibility with anyone who fights Hinger. I just feel that how Wagner is going to play,
he's going to smack him a lot.
But I'm saying even like when they're in position and like on the ground, Wagner is a guy that he's not risk averse, but he is never out of position, and he's usually never like making a mistake ever. Like he is one of the most consistent guys in no-gi in the sport. Like, and again, he's the guy that made Gordon Ryan have to stop fucking around a minute and like deal with, all right, I'm fighting Wagner. I gotta like kind of get back on it and like kind of stop playing around when he got Gordon's leg. It was like, all right, I have to defend this. Defend this. And like, when's the last time we've seen that? Like, Wagner is no joke. Again, at 85, dudes look good. Has a win over John Blank, has a win over Yuri Samos, like, has looked really, really good. We've seen less from Hinger recently, and Wagner, I think, is really slotting into 85 well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, now that he's not, like, cutting down, I think that was another thing, too, is, like, it was taking some of that power and energy away from him.
Yeah.
That he was cutting.
He also filled out. Like, a lot of guys will go up weight class and you're like, yeah, you're up there, but you're not. Like, I think Wagner filled out, and he's, like, comfortable at 85, which seeing him at 70 and even seeing him at like 77, I did not anticipate him to go up to 85 comfortably.
Just think about this for a second, man. You comfortably walk around in like the high 140s, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Imagine being like comfortable at 170 pounds and you're just like, I don't give a shit. I'm just going to eat whatever and I'm going to work out. And like,
that's what
I can
do
see
now.
in your face. You're like, how exciting would that be that I'd be 170 pounds?
That's pretty great.
Exactly.
My dream is 165, Josh. I'm never going to get there because I don't eat enough and I got stomach issues.
You got to eat more. Stop eating the 3 times spicy Korean noodles.
It's so good, dude. They're so spicy.
They are so spicy, but they are so good. If you want to hear about spicy noodles, listen to like episode 2 to like 6.
Do not listen to those episodes. They're still up, but like that's just
I specifically didn't mention episode 1, but like 2 to 6, we talk a lot about those spicy noodles. I joke around and say that we're sponsored by them.
We do talk about lots of That's a throwback to 160 or 175 episodes, 80 episodes ago. Jeez, we've been doing this show for a long time. Josh, what's your pick on this? I'm gonna lean Wagner just because
Wagner.
Like
he's slightly more active.
Yeah.
He's, as of recently, he's had the stronger opposition. Mm-hmm. It for me, it's a safer pick too.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm sorry. I'm just like
I'm looking through Hinger stuff as well.
Like Hinger hasn't competed a whole lot.
Barbosa fight to win 170 was the last one.
Yeah, which was, it was a few weeks ago. But then before that, it was Marilla Santana at 131.
Mm-hmm. And before that, it was ADCC.
It was ADCC. He beat Wardzinski. He lost to Denise. Mm-hmm. He beat Blank. He beat Gabriel Almeida. He beat Arnaldo Maidana. But he can't beat Deniz because he lost to him at Kasai Pro 6. He's...
Again, I think Wagner's the easier pick here for me.
Yes.
With the consistency. For me, consistency and grappling. I'm kind of come from MMA in that respect. Consistency and seeing guys more frequently and more active means a ton to me. And like I will more usually favor a guy that I have seen more recently do well versus a guy that I have not seen
as
versus
much.
A guy versus like a top ranked guy in 6 months.
Yes.
So going for Wagner on that. Next one we have Nicky Ryan versus Gabriel Almeida.
This is okay. So Nicky, the last few matches he's won, but it hasn't been impressive.
Well, he had a split decision versus Barch that you can make a solid argument
that he didn't win it. Yes,
win either way.
And Gabriel Almeida,
Ty Rotolo match he had before that, like clearly Rotolo beat him in that match. Like he's had some tough matches where he didn't look phenomenal. He's also had matches where he looks good. He's showcasing new stuff. He's talking about implementing new things in his game. But you were saying Maidana.
Almeida, you mean?
Yeah, sorry, Gabriel Almeida, not Maidana.
Yes, but
this is also at 85, by the way.
It's at 85, and looking at a lot of this stuff right now, like he lost to Ronaldo Jr. by Kimura at Fight to Win. He lost to Pedro Mourinho at Fight to Win.
Talking about Gabriel Almeida here.
Yes. Lost to João Gabriel Hosha, Jake Watson. He's lost to Wagner, Otavio Souza.
So a lot of those guys are big guys, though. Like big guys that are in open weight matches.
Jimenez.
Yeah, Max Jimenez.
No.
Roberto Jimenez.
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember his first name. He's lost to Felipe Andrew a bunch. Shanji.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a good chunk of losses on there as well.
Pretty recent losses as well.
Yeah. And
Nicky Ryan, we don't have a huge set of data to kind of work with on him either. He's like, he comes in, he kind of does what he does.
He tries to do what his brother does, but he's not as good at it as his brother. Like, he plays a lot of that bottom stuff and tries to do those,
trying to wrestle
set up
up
those same traps and trying to wrestle. And it's just like, yeah, you're Gordon Ryan's brother, but just be your own dude. Like, you're still a really, really good grappler. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. Like, still an amazing grappler, but just do your thing. Like, don't emulate your brother. You're not him. You're, like, if you look at him right now, like, you can still see, he's a little bit of a pudgy kid.
Yeah, he's still, like, he's 19 now?
18, 19 years old.
Yeah, I think he's 19.
Like, he's not grown into his body fully yet.
Yeah.
And I don't think that he is as genetically gifted as his brother.
It's Gordon. He's jacked though now.
I mean, he's big. Don't get me wrong, but he's not like his brother big.
Yeah, no, I agree. Again, this is a weird one for me because it's really, can Nicky Ryan get something going versus Almeida? And I kind of lean that he
can,
will.
And I think like this match, I believe he'll win, but it needs to be more impressive than what he's looked like recently.
Yeah,
he needs to go back to like 15, 16-year-old Nicky Ryan.
He's just ripping legs off of adult
ripping
men.
Legs off, or like taking them back and squeezing the shit out of their face.
Like the ADCC trials from 2019.
Or when he went against who's the wrestler guy from 10th Planet? You know who I'm talking about.
Marvin Castell.
No.
Yeah, Ricky Lule.
Yes. Yeah. See, that's why you're here. You help me remember them.
What's up, Josh?
When he just kind of like trounced him, he just was like, "Oh, you're gonna try to do this? Nah, I'm taking your back and I'm choking you."
Right.
I think Nicky will win this one. It's an opportunity to break out. He needs to show off. If he can do his own thing and start working, he could take that spot of his brother. If he really he just needs to open up. I think he's more so. It seems like he's afraid to lose, and it's like, dog, even your brother lost.
Dog, this is grappling. It's the last 2 matches, and that's all we really care about.
Yeah, you lost to so-and-so 4 years ago. It's like, who gives a shit?
No one cares.
And again, you're young. Look at the Rotolo brothers.
Yeah.
Like 4 years ago, were you like, oh, they're going to beat the shit out of everybody? No, you were like, who knows?
It's an Athos kid. There maybe not.
Maybe
now
not,
you're like,
yeah.
I'm going to pick Ty and Cade versus most people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think Nicky does it. I think he does it with a leg lock.
I do too. I honestly foresee this one being close if Gabriel comes out and
it's close if Nicky lets it be close. That's my opinion.
I think that's, and I'm curious. And we've seen Nicky the last couple of matches let it be close, and that's what I'm kind of concerned about.
He needs to not do that.
So next match we have Jessica Khan versus Patty Fontes. I kind of want to lean Khan here pretty.
You kind of want to?
Pretty strongly.
You kind of want to.
I would like to. I think that is the correct choice. Fontes has had some downs recently.
She is on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She is on a 7-fight losing streak.
That's kind of why. And she's been only fighting at the top in the division at women's roosterweight. Khan has been looking really good. Had a really good match versus Bastos at Nogi Pans, and had a really good match versus Bastos at AJP World Pro, I think, or was it Abu Dhabi Grand Slam? One of the two. Very, very good. I expect Khan to continue to improve and get better. She has talked about that. I foresee this being a submission victory over Fontes. Has she fought Fontes before?
Has she fought Fontes?
Yeah,
before?
For some reason I think that she has, but I could
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless this is a different Jessica J. Khan. Nope. EBI 18, she lost via toe hold 3 years ago.
Yeah, Khan's a very different grappler than she is now.
So
good rematch. I'm excited for it. Yeah. I want to lean Khan pretty heavily here.
I'm straight up picking her.
Yeah.
Patty's like falling into the almost like a downslope of what she's doing right now, and she's not. I'm not saying she's not competing frequently, but she's just keeps running into all of these
she keeps running into the top 3 people in the division
in 2 different weight classes, and then just
Yeah.
I think she's in Puerto Rico.
Fontes? She's off and on with the DDS folks. I think she's now back where she is. I think she's Checkmat. Yeah, she's Checkmat. She's back at whatever Checkmat gym she helps run. She's back there now, but she frequently pops down with the DDS folks into Puerto Rico, I think once or twice. But right now, she's at Checkmat. Again, I lean Khan here. I think that's where it's going to go.
Con, yeah.
Next match, we have a kind of a weird match. We have Jonathan Alves versus Oliver Tazza, 170 pound.
We talked about this a few weeks ago, and we both said Tazza is hot and cold to where if he can't get his thing, he kind of gets shut down.
Yes.
And, every once in a while, sometimes he gets a body triangle and mufflers a guy and gets disqualified.
Yeah. If you didn't listen to last week's show, that's what happened last week at IBJJF No-Gi Pans, and then everyone was like, "That's a rule," and I went as the rules.
Been a rule.
As the rules guy, I went, "Yeah, for like forever," and then everyone kind of
You're
went,
the rules
"That's
guy.
a dumb."
I'm the rules.
Yeah, you're the
guy.
rules guy, Josh, but I'm here every week, and
That's true.
And they don't know that I text you and go, "Hey, Josh, does this a rule?" And you're like, "Totally a rule." Like,
Totally a
thanks,
rule.
Josh. Yeah, you're one of the best refs I know, and that's.
I just try to stay on top of it. I just looked at
I appreciate it.
A local tournament, and I was like, I think they might have changed their rules. And I went through, and I was like, they did. They allowed reaping in the gi.
Oh yeah, baby. What
So-
tournament's this?
Grappling industries.
I'm so excited for that now.
Yeah. So they
Oh,
allowed
really? I didn't know that. I love them. They get round robin matches. You get your money's worth. Love that shit.
sometimes.
Yeah, you're a black
Yeah,
belt, Josh.
you get your money's
Josh,
worth.
what's up?
Not me.
Featherweight purple belts.
There's your news. You have to pay for, as a black and brown belt, you have to pay for grappling industries again.
Yeah. That sucks.
I don't think that's a good idea. They had said, sorry, non sequitur. They had said that sometimes like the black or the brown belts didn't show up, and it's like, yeah, if you sign up for something and nobody else is there, why would you show up? It doesn't make any sense. Like, I get it, and I don't get it at the same time. If
Yeah.
you want more black and brown belts to compete, let them compete for free. Are they not going to show up? Sometimes, if I have a guy in the division, I'll show up for my guy, but not for 100 and whatever amount of dollars.
Right.
Like, oh, I have one match and I have to do it 3 times in a row. Not as exciting.
Josh, I, in quotes here, coached you for one of those matches. I remember that.
Which match was that?
That was the match versus not Mineko?
No. Big dude?
Yeah, big dude.
Like big Hispanic dude?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I remember that now.
Yep. And I was like, wait a minute, yeah, like time. I was like, okay, Josh, I'll
Did
do
I
that.
omoplata to him? Or try to at
You
the
tried
very
to.
end?
Yep,
Yes.
you did.
Yeah.
So, non sequitur, back onto like Tazza versus Jonathan Alves. I think if Alves goes in trying to shut down Tazza, I think he can do that. I think if Tazza has an on day, he can very well put Alves in danger in the heel hooks.
If Tazza can get to that, what's the
His preferred entry that Tazza loves.
what's it? The reaping position. What do they call? What does Danaher call
They
it?
call it the triangle. They call it the Senkaku.
Yeah, that one.
Which
When he
is
gets
the
into
triangle.
when he gets into that position, if he gets there, it's hard to get out of it with him. Like, you can watch a lot of his matches where he just sinks
he's got
it
a
in.
crazy good heel hook there. He's got a good transition, and he's got a great knee bar there. Like, those are the 3 things that Tazza does.
But if Alves keeps his
fantastically.
legs away and he keeps his positional game like top notch, Tazza's gonna have a rough day.
And that's sort of what I feel like he's going to do, because that's what we've seen Alves consistently do. Like, Alves is a guy that is, like, positioned first. He's AOJ. Like,
But he
position
lost
first.
his Evolve Your Game match because he was trying to do that and wasn't opening up as much.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't open up as much, and he got
But I
beat
think-
because of it.
I think there's no penalty for not opening up and who's number 1, so he has no reason to open up. And that's my thought. Now, Tazza can win a decision here
Well, that's
versus
what I mean.
Alves.
You can win the decision by just looking like you're doing more.
Yeah.
If Alves is trying to just stall it out and not advance position, like, the refs are going to go, I don't want that guy
I can
to
also
win.
see Alves passing here and being on top and
he's
just
got really good passing,
and just
too.
maintaining dominant top position. We've seen Tazza get passed. I think at a recent Who's Number 1, we saw him get passed and then kind of stalled out from the bottom there. I can see Alves doing that. But if Alves can't do that and consistently like stay on top of Tazza and be progressing on the top of Tazza, I kind of see this being a closer decision just because we know Tazza is going to be consistently active. Although he doesn't always isn't able to open up and be successful with that, he is a guy that does consistently give you activity, whereas Alves is a guy that sometimes consistently kind of shuts guys down and does not give you activity. So
Correct.
could go either way. Interesting stylistic matchup.
It'll be interesting. This is another pick'em There you go, man.
I couldn't see the screen, Josh.
I understand, and I didn't want you to make too much noise, and I didn't remember where your trash can was.
I appreciate it. I don't know where it is either, Josh, by the way. That's why I didn't put it in the trash. Next match, we have Andrew Taka versus Michael Galvao. Who's English?
These are the prelims, by the way.
Free, by the way. You should totally watch them. They are free on Facebook and YouTube. If you don't have Flow Grappling, watch these 2 matches because...
3 matches.
Oh, 3 matches? Oh, look at that.
3 matches.
3 matches. These are going to be really great. I'm super excited. Thanks, Josh.
Scroll down a little bit.
Yeah, I can't.
There you go.
Super excited for this. Michael Galvao, I heard an interview with him for the first time this week.
English
in
is good?
English, and I was like, oh, his English is like really good. I didn't know that. He's also at Fight Sports now.
He's bounced around a lot, hasn't he?
He has.
Was he at Atos before this?
I think he was.
I can't remember.
I don't know why, but I know that he's a brown
He's a brown belt, and he's scary.
Yeah.
He is terrifying.
He's a guy we've been hearing about. Whenever you hear about Brazilian kids that are on the international circuit, you're like, and they're like, one of them, I remember 2 years ago, he had a match with like a Kazakhstan black belt, and he was a kid's blue belt or something like that.
Oh yeah, I remember that video now.
Yeah, and they were like, it's the only guy we could get to fight him, and he just trounced this like
he did.
established black belt. It was like, okay, who is this terrifying kid? Shades of a 14-year-old Nicky Ryan again. Like, we have a child defeating a grown man. That's Michael Galvao. I'm super excited to see him kind of on the Who's Number One stage versus another young grappler, Andrew Taka. This is it's a 172.5 pound catch weight.
What a random weight.
Which I love. I like to fight to win weights. It's like whatever weight you want to have the match at.
What do you weigh right now? I can make like 174 3/4. It's like, all right, that's the match. 174.75.
You're like, okay. I don't know how this one's gonna go. Like, I'm gonna lean Galvao because Galvao has
lean that hard.
Because Galvao has showed me that he is a monster. I'm more familiar with Andrew's game. We've covered Andrew for the past 2 years now on a bunch of pro stuff.
Pans and watch Galvao beat the shit out of people.
Dude, that transition to the armbar that he has going on Instagram on the highlight is just crazy.
I'm going to go Galvao. And again, it's free, so watch it.
Yeah, this is fun. I think Andrew's going to hunt the legs hard here, but I see Galvao like being able to weather the storm and I think he's going to probably try to smash on top because
I think he's just going to try to smash from
especially
wherever.
with Fight Sport. Like in that room with Cyborg,
with Wagner,
Dorino, and
like
Wagner.
All those guys,
Is it Victor Daria? Who's the coach? Who's one of the coaches of Fight Sports?
It might be Victor Daria, but then you have like BB Monster.
BB Monster. Is it Victor Davia? I'm thinking there's a Fight Sport coach that's always in Maggie and it's always in Cyborg's corner. He's the guy.
I can't remember, but I know
I'm
who
looking
you're
at his
talking
face,
about.
bald-headed Brazilian guy.
I know
big
who you're
jack
talking about.
Guy,
I just
and
can't remember his
I
name.
always mess up his name, and I messed it up last week. And I was hoping that you would.
Somebody let
his
us
name.
know. We're stupid.
Next match we have Artijitu Kolabate versus
Just go with Bird.
Bird Wiltsey.
I don't even know how to say that. Satya?
Maybe.
Okay. We already know that his parents are apparently really weird and think that they're wizards, so we'll just go with Bird.
Cool.
Cole is really good. We haven't seen as much from Bird, but he's tough nose. If he's anything like his brother, you know he's just
he's from Pedigo, the Days of Fresh series, like hard nosed, basement laundromat kind of grappling kind of guy. First time we'll see him on Who's Number One on a big event.
We saw him on Fight to Wins. We've seen him at other stuff too. It's just like hard to see where it is, and it's with Cole. Even though, again, it's a no-gi match, and Cole's like a blue belt.
Yeah,
and I think Bird is either a purple or a brown belt at this point.
I think he's a purple.
Again, Cole's one of those people where it's hard to find matches for him. And we've known about him since forever because Seth Daniels talked about him all the time before he went to AOJ. And then he was the one that kind of broke the news. He was like, oops, my bad, that he went over to AOJ. So it'll be a really interesting match. You will obviously hear the Pedigo guys in the background yelling and carrying on and, being hype for their teammates. So it'll be interesting to see Bird putting that pedigo style of pressure on Cole and how Cole deals with it.
Yeah.
This is another pick-em match where I'm just like, I don't know.
Next match, we have Luiz Quijones versus Damian Anderson of DDS. 145 match, 15 minutes. That biggest match I can point to for Damian Anderson is the one he had. It was a 50-minute match at Third Coast versus Andrew Tackett.
Oh, yeah.
That was him. That's the last time I've seen him. That's the last time I would have seen him. And so, as the dog barks in the background, it completely throws me off.
It's actually kind of funny that Quinones is, in his record, he lost to Keith Krikorian at the North American Trials. So that's pretty interesting. He has a loss against Nicky Ryan at the West Coast Trials. He lost to Ricky Lulay. These are all like his teammates. This is super weird.
Yeah.
This is another one where it's like...
It's a pick'em.
It's a pick'em.
It kind of depends on who shows up that day, and then...
And who just gets the right spot at the right time.
Yeah.
And this was discussed in the Grappling Rewind chat when we were looking at the Third Coast bracket. Mm-hmm. That I like...
Oh, that's out now.
Yeah,
that was news I forgot about.
Oh, we'll talk about that in the outro. I like not knowing who's going to win.
Yeah.
Again, this was the issue with anybody versus Gordon Ryan. It's like, why do you pick against him? Why would you assume that anybody would win other than Gordon Ryan?
Right.
So the fact that you can't pick somebody is better for us because it makes it more interesting. And once again, there's the dog.
Yeah.
Hi, Bandit. Go lay down. Anyway, I think that wraps up.
Yeah, we have the
who's
Spider.
number one. It'll be really interesting. I like how you were like, we're going to preview Spider. Nothing's out about Spider. They don't have anything on there. There's no news, and it tells you how to watch it. Just know that at 10:30 at night, on the same night as who's number one, East Coast time, that is, by the way. So 7:30. Oh, look who's got it. Maine's got it. Maine is on top of things. Anyway, so let's go over the bracket then.
So a lot of these people, the Spider BJJ Brown and Purple Invitational, Josh, as you don't let me do my intro.
Hell yes.
Under 75 kilogram prelims are live on Flow Grappling. Sometimes it's live on YouTube. Sometimes it's live on Facebook.
It's going to be on Flow Grappling.
Okay.
Road to Black, where we saw, what's his name? Andre. I know his last name is Andre.
Muniz.
No. Not Muniz. Not one of the Muniz brothers. He was a later guy. He called himself. His nickname was Hokage.
Oh, Japanese guy.
No, he was a Brazilian dude, but he was a brown belt, and he got really far. I think he took second place overall, and then he got promoted to black belt. But anyway, so we have Daeyeon Cho versus Sungmoon Baek, and whoever listens to us that's from Korea. Please, by the way, correct us on these. I know you will, and we appreciated it last time.
We do, every time.
And then we have Jonathan Pesanya from Dream Art, which is that Alliance affiliate versus Sunghyun Ju. Probably screwed that one up, too. So the first match is 2 brown belts. The second match is a brown versus a purple. On the other side of the bracket, we have Rafael Silveira from Atos versus, God, this is fuzzy, Bon Chol Koo. Killed it. That's brown versus purple. And then we have Hyun Suk Lee, which is Cobrina Korea, versus Guillermo Fernandez from Cicero Costa. We, as you know, we talk about the lower belts, but we are not as deep into them until people tell us about them,
or start getting matched up against black belts.
Right,
is really what it is.
Or they contact us, like Jacob the Bull Brown, who's now out there killing it. And he contacted us when he was like, not even
episode 5,
like a yellow. No, it was here when he contacted us.
No, it was not.
It wasn't.
When I told you about it, it was here. Wow, it's like episode 5.
Yeah, he was like a yellow belt or something like that. But now he's like a blue belt or something, and he's killing it. So, yes, we haven't forgotten about you, Jacob. We hear about you frequently.
So, that does it for Spider. It's a lot of fun. They're awesome. It gives us a chance to cover the lower belts.
And you'll get to see them versus black belts as well.
Yeah. if they win the qualifier,
Yes.
which is always super exciting. I like that. We love that Spider
It's
does
normally
that.
1 and 2 that go onto the tournament.
But it's super rare that you ever get a chance to see in the gi.
Yes.
And even when Spider started, like, it was super rare. It's less rare now. It's still pretty rare. But on a professional show, it's nice to see purple, brown, and black belts go against each other in mixed pools. So that's all I got for that. Let's move on to we have the Third Coast grappling bracket out now.
You're making me look that up.
And I got it here if you want to look at it.
You can start reading it.
We have match 1. And again, this is why I appreciate Ryan McGuire, because he was like, look, no one wants to see the 8 seed go against the 1 seed because you know how that's going to go. What you want to see is a bunch of interesting matches with an interesting... I was like, all right, that is correct. I do get bored knowing immediately how the bracket's going to end up. With this bracket, I didn't have that problem. So we have first round, we have João Gabriel Hosha versus... Oh, no, sorry, Pedro Hosha, I think, versus Roberto Jimenez. We have Pedro Mourinho versus Pat Downey in the most wrestler, like, how the hell is this going to go match. We have Gustavo Batista versus John Combs, and we have Oliver Tazza versus Andrew Tackett. That is going to be a hell of a bracket to pick in a couple weeks.
I don't know.
That's
what's great.
I sent this bracket to the chat, and usually what I'll do is I will send the bracket and I'll circle the names and I'll be like this. And I looked at this bracket and I went, I don't really know how this is going to go because all of those matchups I can see going either way. And it's like, well, I kind of want to pick Batista, but it's like, well, does Mourinho get through Downey? Like, what does Downey look like? How does his style work?
Who knows?
Like, which Jimenez shows up? Which João Gabriel? Which Pedro? Which Hosha shows up? Which Tazza shows up? Like, all of those X Factor questions make this bracket super interesting to me, and I'm very looking forward to that. That is on the 19th of next month, June 19th. So
yeah,
should
we're
be
already
fun.
talking about it. That's how excited we are.
Well, he put out the bracket ahead of time so I can think about it. Don't release your bracket 2 days before the event. Hey, release it at least a couple weeks before so I can talk about it. We can think about it. I can get excited for matchups. Like, that's the way to do it. Killing it. Super excited to see it. Josh, that's all I got for this week's show. You got anything else?
No.
What do you got going on this week? Working?
A lot of work.
Nice.
As per usual.
Good to hear.
That's why we're doing this that's why we're finishing this up at 8:30 almost on a Monday.
Yep, got a nice 3.5 hours to edit it.
Oh yeah, because I've done a lot of screwing up.
Yeah, Josh,
you're gonna have to go through and just go like, okay, maybe we can turn down the nails on the floor a little bit.
Yep.
But yeah, I got off at like 5 and then went home and ate with the fam and walked my dog and then came over here.
Nice.
So but other than
pretty
that,
standard week.
Yeah, mostly working,
Good
training.
We're gonna go out for some food hopefully this week.
Hopefully, until Maine somehow screws that up. I'm just gonna blame it on him.
Mm-hmm. For a bachelor dinner to eat delicious food with the show.
Yes.
Looking forward to that, and then
watch who's number one more than likely.
I'm super. That's really what I want to do. Hey, the food's exciting. What we could do is we could come back to the house and we could yell at my big ass TV for some grappling.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to poison all of your drinks.
Jesus.
No. We are going to have a great time. We're going to drink some libations at your house. I'm not drinking while we're out. I am very much against drinking and driving. So I don't promote it, and I will not drink and then have to drive
Same thing with me.
30, 40 minutes to get to your house.
I'll have a drink and then a couple hours later drive. But like if I have 2 drinks, car stays there and I'll figure it out tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll Uber or something.
That's the
Don't
rule.
drink and drive, kids.
Yep.
So that'll be really cool. We're getting closer and closer to Maine being legally bound to
Got my
somebody.
marriage certificate in this week. That was stressful after 3.5 weeks.
That was a fun message.
Hey man,
do you have your marriage certificate? Yeah, it just came in. I was like, oh God.
You caught me at a rough time, Josh. Not mildly stressed about a lot of things and like catering and sides.
Are you immediately leaving and going on a honeymoon?
No.
Or no?
God.
Okay.
No, Josh. I'm going back to work after being gone from surgery.
I'm thinking ahead, like, do we need to do something about the show?
Did look up flights to Japan this week though, just like to curious.
Why?
To see what they cost.
Yeah, expensive.
They are very expensive. Yes,
it's
Josh.
always expensive.
It is going to be very expensive to do that, but
and you only have to realize like they're kind of trying to still Olympics.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
So that does it for this week. I got nothing else aside from like I got a bunch of wedding planning stuff to do and like physical therapy to do to hopefully like fix my broken spine, and that's it. All right, Josh. As always, this is Jeremy, host Maine, my co-host
Josh.
We had the grappling reround. We'll see you on the mat. Whatever that is, stay safe. If you like the show, please consider sharing it on Facebook with the folks at your gym. It's the best way that we grow the show, and we really appreciate it. You can reach out to us on email.
We also have Instagram. We have Facebook. We have Twitter. We have Google+.
Until that shuts down.
We have a website.
If you have an event you would like to have us cover, please let us know. If you have a name, like most people do, and you'd like to have us stop butchering it,
let us know.
Reach out to us. The show is also available on YouTube, Spotify, in addition to iTunes and every other podcast service. We very much appreciate your time, and thank you.